Welcome to Grace Over Grit and Growth, the podcast where we empower women to be who they are gracefully while being unapologetic.
Well, hello and welcome to our second episode of the new year.
Yes, second episode of 2026.
2026.
So moving right along.
Yes, quickly.
It is.
So I think this episode we want to talk about being prepared to buy or sell, right? It's a new year. We have a new outlook. We do have some buyers in the pipeline and home sellers. So January, February is really a good time to do what we call preparation work.
And one of the things that Monique and I both really truly believe in with our clients is the plan and preparation piece. Sometimes people are like, oh, all I need to do is get pre-approved, find a house. Yes, that's part of it, but that's not the whole picture. And that's why sometimes you'll hear people say that they feel rushed or they're unsure because you really haven't had a chance to digest what this process is going to be about. Now, we'll walk you through it. The expectation is not that you're going to remember everything verbatim.
Right.
But the first time that you're hearing that you need to pay for X, Y, and Z, it shouldn't be when you're paying for it. You should understand what's coming next. And we really want to sit down with our clients and understand their goals, whether that be if you're selling your home, and if you're, planning on buying a home, like what is it that you want to gain from this transaction? What are your main goals? So we can make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Exactly. Because once you get in it, actually, it moves very quickly.
Yes.
And so, having a little bit, like Alita said, you're not going to remember everything that we talked about up front, but it moves very quickly and it's very emotional.
It is.
Right. And sometimes we are asking you to make decisions very quickly. So if you thought about some things and really have a plan and have your why and your goals set right there in front of you, I think that helps you to determine,
yes,
which way you want to go when we come to you, with some decisions sometimes. So
yeah. One of the things that stands out for me, especially for let's just take buyers, for instance.
Okay.
We'll have people that are very excited, like, oh, I hit 725 for my credit score, or so now I feel like I'm very qualified and I'm ready to go. I've saved some money. Yeah. And then when you start asking those secondary questions, it's not at all to burst your bubble or deflate the process, but we really want to make sure that you're prepared. One of the big things people always ask is, like, they'll say, okay, I'm ready. I saw these houses on your website. Can we go look? And it's like, well, you need to get a pre-approval. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, because Sally at my job, we've been there. We got hired in on the same day. Yeah. We do the same job. We have the same pay. And she bought a house 2 years ago. So if Sally bought a house, I know that I can buy a house.
Absolutely no.
Yes. But what you don't understand, and it's not just a matter of how much money you make. It's a true picture for each and every person. It's an individual process. You might have other sources of income. Right now, a lot of people have side jobs. So it may be social media. You might have a part-time job. You might have something else. One person might have a very low debt to income ratio.
That's the thing.
And another person might be like, yeah, I have everything and my credit cards are charged up. But, that doesn't mean that you have bad credit.
Right.
So there's a lot of factors that come into play when the mortgage broker is looking to see how much house you can afford. And the other thing is too, how much do you want to pay per month?
How much do you want to pay per month?
Because when they walk you through that pre-approval process, they might say, you know what, you could afford $4,500 a month. Now, if you're somebody who likes to travel the world, who wants to do other things, that might not be comfortable for you. And sometimes you're coming from a place where you've paid rent. So, I've got accustomed to paying $2,000 per month, let's just say. And I feel like I have cushion where I could maybe do another $500. So I'm comfortable at $2,500. You can then ask them. And I encourage all of my clients to say, hey, I want to be at this number. So then they can back into it and say, yes, you qualify for this. But if you're saying you want to be at $2,500, then that instead of you getting a $400,000 home, maybe it's a $325,000. And that's a good place for us to start looking, because the last thing you want to do is start looking at $400 and then be like, oh no, I don't want that mortgage payment. I'm looking at $325. Because it's just like if you're going to a car dealership and you say, you know what, I'm going to test drive the Mercedes. I love all the bells and whistles. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to get a Toyota. Nothing's wrong with a Toyota.
Right.
But you're not getting all the bells and whistles and fancy fun feelings that you're going to get with the Mercedes.
But you didn't want to pay that $1,200 a month.
Exactly.
Just to have a car.
Exactly. So you got to get comfortable. And it's hard. Like you said, it's very emotional because there's so many other things. Because how many times, I can't count the number of times we're in a transaction when you explain something to your client, why? It's always why? Because sometimes logically, I can see from someone who's not in real estate how it may not make sense because you don't see how things have to work together. So you don't understand why this is so important. And that's why we do on the front end, the planning, so that you understand the whys and can get some of those questions out of the way. And you are coming in more informed and understand why we're moving the way we're moving.
And when we do that upfront plan with buyers and we're asking you about your wants and needs, and getting that wish list, it's because too, sometimes it's the other way. You think you can afford more and you can't.
Yes.
So now I need you to take that list where you had these needs, these wants, and this wish list and say, okay, what can I do without? And so having a good conversation, having a good realtor talk to you about those things so that we know, this house is good. She really wanted a basement, but it doesn't have a basement, but it meets all the other boxes. So where are you willing to adjust, your needs, your wants, so that you can still stick with your goal, right? Because the overall goal is to get a home.
Exactly.
Right. And it doesn't have to be your forever home. And that's another thing that we really try to impress upon people. The goal right now is to get started, to get in the game and start building equity. It's not to go all out there, hey, I got the 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom house up front. That's not the goal. If you can do it, come on with it, call me. But that's not the goal.
No, it's to get, like you said, it's to get in. Yeah. And when you're sitting down, great point as far when you have those conversations to what's important to you. Because let's say if I say I need 4 bedrooms because it's me and I have 3 kids, and this house has 3 bedrooms, but it has a full basement. Okay, could we put one of the kids in the basement? Right. Like if they're older, could we do a bedroom in the basement? There's all sorts of workarounds.
Can't 2 of them sleep together?
People get crazy about that nowadays. So
that's just me.
They're like, share a room. My gosh, no. It's funny some of the things that people get bent out of shape about. But you have to also understand if you're going to stand on that, because a lot of times what happens, you're like, no, this is what I want. And then the thing is, why did I only see 3 houses this week that came? Why did you only send me 3 houses? Then ask me if I want to see any of those. Because that's all that met your criteria. Because look, you have to remember when we're asking you what you want, it's because there's homes on the market. So every time that you say, think of it as like a filter or like a funnel. So everything's available to you. But then you say, okay, well, I have to have 4 bedrooms. Okay, well, let's come in. Yeah. So now I need a finished basement. Okay, then. A 3-car garage. Okay, then. So, so when you say, and I explain that to people, and I know you do as well, that it's great if you have those, but if those are not must-haves, we're not going to list them. Because the moment I check that, if it doesn't have that, you won't see that home on your search or won't set up.
Is a 1.5 bathroom okay instead of 2?
Yes.
That makes a difference.
It does.
It makes a big difference. So if you could live with that 1.5, then okay, let's do that versus a 2. Because sometimes, again, some of the houses are gonna go away. That funnel is going in, and that's not something you're gonna see. So
yes, and the questions, it's so funny because I say that with my clients is actually a relationship, because that's another thing. When you're sitting down with your realtor, it's the interview on both sides.
Both.
Because you might be like, well, I don't like this. She told me that I couldn't. And I'm like, well, I'm just explaining to you if you don't like the reality of things, I can't change that.
Right.
And you may decide, you know what? I just want to move, and I don't want people to tell me, put bumpers on and tell me this isn't going to work. So if you and your realtor don't mesh, that's another reason to look in the beginning to see how they work and if it's conducive to how you want it to work.
Yeah, because we can't change the conditions of homes. We can't change locations of homes. And we can't change what you can afford.
Exactly.
It is what it is. And what's out there in your price range is what's out there. So sometimes, you may have to come back, like I said, on some of those wants and wish lists so that you can get in the game.
Yes. And the other thing is to leverage our relationships, because I know sometimes I've gotten in places where people were like, oh, I love this, but I absolutely hate carpet. So I don't want any homes to have carpets. Oh, hold on. Let's pump our brakes a little bit. Because I have some people that work with me that can come in and do your floors. Right. So let's see what that cost is. If we're looking at this house, it's in your budget. How much would it cost to get floors? How much would it cost to get a fence? I've had people who are like, no, it has to have a fence, or the basement has to be finished. What do those things cost? And if you're able to save that money with purchasing a house and then maybe do it down the road, that's something too. So that's why it's so important to know those things, so we can leverage those relationships and kind of guide you and say, hey, these are some other options that you may not even have realized were options.
Exactly. So just know that we are your trusted advisors. We're here to really talk you through what it is that you want to do, and then help you create a plan to get it done. Right. Yes. And we don't want you to be offended when we throw in, because now we have experience and we may tell you some things that may not be what you expected or thought. Yes. Right. So our thing is to set expectations. That's one of our biggest roles in coming in being your realtor. Yes.
And not even just expectations with us, right, but expectations for other professionals that are in the transaction. For your attorney, what should they be doing? For the inspector, what should they be doing? Those are the checkpoints for you to make sure that you're being guided. Because like you said, we do this on a daily basis.
Right.
So we understand what is acceptable and what's not. So you'll see us become advocates for you on those angles as well. And then also like negotiating things. So we'll prepare you for all of that. But the main thing is, step one, we have to have that plan and communicate. Like, people are like, I don't know if I have time to do it. That's probably the most amount of time we're going to spend. And it's not a lot of time. It probably...
Well, it's relative. It may be a lot of time to other people.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm talking about the actual consultation.
I'm talking about that too.
Oh, okay.
So that may be a lot of time to some people, but it's really
I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you have to set aside time to really be devoted to that plan and to really communicate. If you give me a good 45 minutes to an hour up front, I ask you questions and you answer them, and I'm understanding exactly what it is that you want to do. Then if you don't like communicating a lot,
we're good.
It helps me down the road to be able to get you what you need without you being able to communicate.
Yes, because otherwise what happens is then I'm having to text or call you with everything, because I'm like, I'm not sure if they like this. I'm not sure if this is okay. Right. I'm not sure what you want to do here. I'm not sure that, because we can provide you things, but we can't make a decision on your behalf.
That's right.
So if you tell me, hey, this school district I only want to be in this school district, and then I know, okay, this house hits all the boxes, but it's not in the school district. It's out. If this is, I can quickly move through those and get you, so you're not having to look at. That's one of the things people always ask, like, how, on average, how many homes do you have to show before I find it? It depends. It depends on what's on the market. But what we don't do is, if we know the price point is $350, it might be cool for you to go look at this $550,000 house because you just want to see the kitchen because it's so fantabulous. but we're not, because that's not your goal. So those are some of the things that help everybody just kind of stay in their lane. It helps us to be able to serve you, because then it's like, why do they keep calling me? And it's because we didn't take that time up front, which just happens with a lot of different things.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the local market.
Yeah.
We service kind of Plainfield, Bolingbrook, and Joliet. And those are not the only areas, but those are the three areas that we look at statistics on a regular basis. So in Bolingbrook, people, the median home price is $412,000. That's the median. So that's not an average. That's looking at homes from 0 to $1 million and what's right there in the middle. So it's $412,000. There's 42 active listings currently right now in Bolingbrook.
Okay.
And they're staying on the market 70 days.
Wow. And it's funny because that sounds like crazy, because 2 years ago? It was like
2 days.
Right. It's like, hurry up, I gotta see it. Like, get on your lunch break, or I'm gonna FaceTime you so we can see this house, because it was moving so quickly. So now that it's slowed down, people are like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But it actually is kind of normal.
It is normal. So. Plainfield, median price, $424,000. 80 active listings currently, and they're on the market 90 days. That's 3 months. That's the average.
Whole quarter.
A whole quarter.
Whole quarter.
Oh my God.
That's a season. So you're going from fall to winter, winter to spring, whatever. Okay.
Right. And so then Joliet, $345,000 is the median price. Active listings in that range, 80. And they're staying on the market about 85 days.
Okay. So they're all relatively close.
So between 2.5 to 3 months, you are
Mhm.
seeing homes sit.
Mhm.
So that tells me this is not one of those frantic sellers
Hurry up and
markets,
yeah.
you know, and it's very much a strategy driven market. So
It is.
that's why we talked about those things up front. That's what we want you to do in January and February, buyers. Do your planning, get that credit score together, go get that pre-approval.
And don't guess.
Don't guess.
Don't
Thank
guess
you.
because now's the time. Like I have an appointment with someone tomorrow, which is like, hey, I need to figure out where I'm at. But I'm not sure if I really don't want to do anything until probably April.
Okay.
But I need to know where I'm at. And I'm like, no, that's perfect timing because we'll go through if there's anything that you need to adjust, if they say, you know what, pay some things off, or if they say you're good to go, you know that too.
Exactly.
Figure out where your down payment's going to come. There's different programs that are available, you know, what's going to look best for you, all those types of things. Because what you don't want to do is just have to do all that in a full swing because now I need to be out in 30 days or 45 days and now it's down to the crunch. Having time on your side is such an advantage on both sides, both buying and selling. But the other thing is it allows you to prepare and it allows you, one thing I do like about it being taking a little bit longer is it gives buyers the opportunity to actually compare. Because before people, I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to pressure you, but however, this, and realistically, if you're going to go home, have dinner, and think about it, it may be gone. And that was very much true.
Very much the market.
So I had to tell people that because they'd be like, if I knew it was going to move that fast, I would have written an offer. Like, I didn't understand it was going to move that fast. So you're telling people that. And at first, people were like, you're just saying that because you want me to write an offer on this house and be done with me. And then it happened. They're like, oh, shoot. So now the next time they see something, they jump on it. Moving. But now you have the opportunity to be like, okay, I like both of these subdivisions. I'm going to look at both homes. They're both kind of similar. Which one do I like better? Which one can I see my family in and we can negotiate, but we can negotiate even better if you're prepared. So we say, you know what? The lenders can get this closing done in 30 days. So, you know, sometimes even sooner.
Yeah. If you've gone through underwriting.
Yep, you've gone through underwriting, got everything done. We can get it in a couple of weeks.
20 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
for our sellers, what you're saying is condition too matters.
Oh my gosh, yes.
This is your season to declutter, sellers. We need you to start looking at anything that's obvious in the home. Like if you do have some paint chips or something, this is a good time to go ahead and get your home painted in a nice neutral color. If you're thinking about going into
I'm laughing at the nice neutral color. People will get it painted and it'll be fuchsia. And people will be like, whoa.
Nice neutrals. And if not, I have a list of Sherman Williams colors that you could paint to be neutralized. To neutralize. Yes. As part of our planning, I would give you those colors, like based on your cabinets or what's going on. I'll say, you know what, maybe you need to paint this color. But it's just a good time to neutralize and declutter. So that's what you should be working on if you're thinking about selling in April or May.
And putting together a list. And I'm saying a list of, okay, we got the windows replaced in 20. So a lot of times people know, like, they're like, oh, shoot, when was that? But you probably have receipts and you can go back and figure it out. But when I'm sitting across from you, when we're talking about doing a listing, you're like, shoot, I have no idea. Let me find that out. So now if you know that you got a new patio, if you upgraded windows, if you've gotten a new furnace, roof. Roof. So those types of things, make note, okay, this was done in 2022, this was done here. If you have any warranties with anything, appliances that you may have purchased, get those ready and in a packet or a folder so that you'll have those ready to go. And then if you can't look around, I always tell people, if you look around, you're like, nope, there's absolutely nothing I need to do. Get a neutral party to come in because a lot of times when we're in places day to day, you don't even see it. You don't see it.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Don't be offended if we walk through and be like, oh, okay, you might want to put these away, tuck this away, do this. And sometimes you may need to get a deep cleaning service because it's everything looks better when it's sparkly clean. And I will tell sellers that being on the market is not fun because it's like you are presenting a model home, but the difference is you actually live there. So we come up with some systems of baskets of how to keep things tidy, move things away, you know, so that we have the seller at times that we can show homes, you'll know what to tuck away and how to make it presentable. But with anything with marketing, if they can compare two things, You want to compare, you want to be the one that stands out.
You want to be the one that stands out.
And although you're seeing these times or longer markets, the things that are priced well and look really nice, they're moving.
They are moving. And that's what I want to say. Those are the homes that are moving too.
Mm-hmm.
And you thinking, well, let's try this price. Alita and I, we both do something called a comparative market analysis. Mm-hmm. We look at homes from the past 4 to 6 months in your area. What have they sold for? Mm-hmm. We get comparable comps in terms of bedrooms, bathrooms. Mm-hmm. Does it have a basement? Is it finished? Is it not? Do they have a patio? We do all of that up front. And we bring that data to you mm-hmm. so that you can see about where we think your home is. Now, we're in a partnership, right? And with any partnership, there's negotiations, right? Mm-hmm. And if you are adamant about putting your home $20,000 more than what one of us suggested, we will do that. But just know there's something called chasing the market. When you overprice your house, especially in a market like this, you become the one on the market that, people go see right away and mm-hmm. they never get an offer, and it sits and sits and sits. Because mm-hmm. now you've created this illusion that something is wrong with this house.
Right. Because they're like, why has this house been sitting on the market for 60 days? They're like, ooh, this price. And then they're like, wait a minute. And then like we're just talking about comparison. So if you see something, you want to do 20,000 over, they come take a look at your house and look at another house. And it's like, well, it's very similar to this one. Why would I pay $20,000 more? Like right. I don't see $20,000 of difference where I'd be okay with paying that for this house.
Right.
So I'm going to go back to the other one, because if all is fair and they're very similar, why would you pay more? Exactly. Why would you pay more? So that's another thing to think about, because like you said, then it's like, okay, well, they've had all these showings. And now you're like, well, why is it sitting? Because even though there's possibly nothing wrong with the house, is the stigma of sitting.
Right.
What's going on? And then if you do price drop, but that's like, well, why are they dropping the price? So it's marketing 101.
Yeah.
It's the perception. So
and you had a similar situation with that, right? With a townhome in Romeoville.
I did. I came in. So it was actually like 4 doors down. We had, when my client reached out to me, there was a townhome that was 4 doors down on her right that had been on the market since June, like the last week in June. And there was another one that was to the left that had been on the market, I want to say since August. And we went on October. Yeah, we went on in October. We were under contract. So when I looked at it, one was like 275, and then the other one was 283. So the 275 was the exact layout as my client's. The 283 had been completely remodeled and had an additional bedroom.
Okay.
So it had an additional bedroom, had been completely remodeled. So everything was like brand spanking new. They went under contract right before the 283 went under contract right before we went on the market. We went on and we were under contract in like 3 or 4 days. We went on at 250. We went under contract in like 2 or 3 days, and we got an offer for 265.5. And we had other people that were interested, but that was the highest one. We went with that one. We closed towards the end of November, mid to end of November. And that one that was on in June is still on the market. Mm-hmm. Yeah, still on the market. And people come down, they're like, oh my gosh, like why would, and you just look at it now. And I told my client, I said, we're going to go in at 250 because the other one was under contract. So we really didn't know what it actually sold for. And come to find out, the one that was a 283, it ended up closing at like 278.
Okay.
So it was still less than the 283, and it was way better than the 275. So if you looked at that one, there was no comparison. And my client did a very good job of getting everything ready, with carpets cleaned and stretched. She had some newer appliances, so I had all the manuals and things for that. Mm-hmm. So it was a pretty smooth transaction. But it was the prep on the beginning and looking at the market. And she understood that. So she was like, yeah, because they've been on. And they would do price drops, but the price drops were like
$1,000.
One of them was $700.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? So $700 to $1,000. Yeah. So it wasn't really making a difference. And people, I even talked to the agent, they weren't even getting showings at some point. So But they were adamant they wanted that number.
And I'm sure that agent is frustrated because that is all precipitated by the seller. And the seller's probably telling him, this is what I want. Mm-hmm. And at some point, and this is what we were just talking about, the reality of things.
Yep.
You've been sitting and all the homes around you have sold. That's very similar to yours in your subdivision. We're not even going out a mile radius.
No, like literally you can look out the door and see
this one and that one. When do you say, okay, maybe my house is not worth it? So those are some of the things too we try to assess to see how realistic are you, in this process. Because sometimes we do want to make a certain amount of money. We think we're going to cover this.
And sometimes it's the seller too. We sit down with the seller, and then sometimes it's like, hey, I want to go to, my next move is this. And in order to do that, I need to clear $65,000.
Exactly.
So to pay my house off, I get to 65, it needs to be priced at this. Now, we can look at the numbers and be like, that's great on paper, but that's not going to happen. And if it's not going to happen, is it even worth? Maybe it's just not the time for you to sell.
And maybe it's not, and that's
okay.
And that's the advice we will give. Mm-hmm. This is not the time for you to sell. Now.
Yeah.
You need to wait and gain a little more equity in your home when you're able to do that.
Yes.
But the conditions of where we are in the market today will not grant you that $65,000. And then it's up to them to say, okay, well, what would it do? Maybe we're at $58,000. Are you all good with that? So. In the end, it's always the seller's or the buyer's decision.
It is.
It is not our decision. We're there to guide, to educate, and to help you make the best decision really for your goals. And what I find interesting too is sometimes we have to take our clients back and say, now you told me in the beginning, in that 45-minute to hour consultation, that this was your big why.
Yes.
And this is why you wanted to do this. Or this is what you wanted.
Mm-hmm. And you got it.
And you're getting it. Now, has something changed? Mm-hmm. And if it has, that's where communication is important too. You need to come to us and say, hey, Monique, you know what? I'm looking at this a little differently now. I want to change some things.
Yeah. What I always find funny too is when you're sitting down with sellers and like I said, we work the numbers and you say you need to have, you need to net a certain amount of money. So I said, okay, if we listed this price, we'll go through the net sheet and say, after all expenses and everything was selling, you'll net X. So let's just say it's $50,000. They're like, oh, that's perfect. I need to net that. So then we put it on the market. It's priced. It sells within a week. And sometimes people are like, well, why did it sell so fast?
Right.
Maybe it should have been higher. Maybe I should have did something. It's like, no, you're okay with this. You got exactly what you want. And sometimes it's more. So it might even be $5,000, $10,000 more than what it was listed for. And then it's like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So like you said, having to bring them back because the goal is to price your house appropriately and sell your house in the least amount of time for the highest amount possible.
Right.
That's always going to be the goal. So if you attain the goal, don't be mad about it. Because it's the what if. It's always the what if. What if the market determines the price? And we don't really have this much. Well, we don't have it much anymore now. Mm-hmm. Like the bidding wars, where people would be like, well, they bid $250. Okay, I bid $315. That's great. But if it's not going to price at $315, what are we talking about?
What are we doing?
So those are types of the things that when the numbers sound great, we have to give you the why behind it. Like, that's great, but it also has to do this, this, and this in order for you to see that money. And then people are like, oh, so it's really, yes. So explaining those things for you, that's what we're here for.
That is what we're here for. And, again, I say all of this is so emotional.
It is. It is because there's a lot of moving parts. I know people get frustrated because sometimes you have to send in updated documents. So it's just, and you've got the lender that may be calling you saying they need this. Your attorney is asking for this. We're telling you, okay, you need to be here. So you're like, oh my gosh. But not to scare anybody. It's not, plenty of people buy homes and do it on a daily basis. So
and have survived.
Yes. They do still live to tell the story. So it's not that, but you want to make sure that that you have a good realtor that has your best interest at heart.
Absolutely.
One of the things that Monique and I laugh about is we have client events, and you would think these clients are like our friends and family because they do become our extended friends and family because they appreciate us working with them, and we appreciate them. And it's just fun to be able to see people get through the process. It's like, remember, and we'll laugh about it because one of the things, sometimes deals fall through. Like
Yes,
they'll be like,
true.
I didn't get, I really wanted that house. I really didn't get it. And I'm always like, you know what? What's for you is for you. So at the end of the day, you're getting it. So I always tease my clients because when we get into it, and I'll be like, but remember when you were so mad about that first one? They're like, in this house better. And they're like, yeah, it is. But like, because at the end of the day, what is for you always ends up being for you. So it's fun to be able to have and we have fun along the way. We're making it sound like it's really serious because it's a big investment. It's a big deal, but we do make it, fun along the way too.
We try. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we try. And we have good partners that we work with.
Yes.
And sometimes, now I will say this with my sellers, sometimes you want to come with your own attorneys. This is my cousin's sister's best friend, and she's an attorney. Is she a real estate attorney? No, she's not a real estate attorney, but she's family law, or she's just an attorney. Please understand too that when we tell you need a real estate attorney, because they have the systems in place to be able to move quickly. Some of your attorneys who are, general practice or whatever, they don't have all those systems in place. This is a fast moving process.
Yes.
And when I tell you there are dates and deadlines, and if you don't get things in, or you're always doing an extension as a buyer, and it's just not a good look. So you need a real estate attorney.
You do.
And that's for buyers too. It's not just for sellers,
definitely.
Buyers
for both sides. Both sides.
Yeah, I said sellers, but both sides.
And the other thing is when we're getting, let's stick to sellers a little bit. When we're on the representing sellers and we're getting offers in, I know that I have, and I'm sure you do too, there's lenders, there's attorneys that I have had horrible experiences with, and I'm like, oh wait, who's this? Oh yeah, this is gonna be a nightmare, just because I know that they don't prioritize the transaction,
right?
And they can just mess stuff up. So I'm not gonna relive that, and I let my sellers know, okay, we've got these two options, this, and they're both the same, or hey, this is a little bit more, but these people are crazy, so we may or may not get to the closing table. I don't know. Sometimes it's a wish and a prayer when I worked with them last time. And realtors as well. Sometimes there's certain people who just do not answer the phone, do not work with their clients. So that makes it difficult on our end, because I'm reaching out to the other realtor like, hey, my client's ready to do X, Y, and Z, or hey, we've sent over this list to say, these are the repairs we're willing to do. Is your client going to accept it?
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't talked to them. Well, could you call them? Could you text them?
And then them having a relationships with the attorneys, it'd be like, well, their attorney won't answer. Well, do you not know the attorney? Did you not recommend the attorney? And sometimes they may not have, because that's happened to us.
That has.
But we're stressing to you the importance of relationships, and us taking the time to build relationships with vendors who have values and move at the speed like we do, and care about their clients like we do.
100%. And that's part of the buyer's part of the buyer's consultation, and it's part of our listing consultation. We go through it, where we'll say, hey, these are some of our trusted vendors. Take a look at them, see who it is that you want to work with, and we'll share our experiences with them so that you can have an extension of the people that we work with. Because I love working on them where I'm like, hey, what's going on? We're supposed to, this happen, whatever else. And 9 times out of 10, they're on a Johnny on the spot with it. Like, let me figure out what happened. I'll get in, and I can let you know. The worst thing is being in the limbo of not knowing. That just happened to me too. I was like, are these people in the witness protection program?
Where are you?
Where are you? Like,
searching.
I'm like, how is everybody not available? There's the realtor's not available, the lender's not available, the attorney's not. He was like, it was so funny because we called the attorney. He was like, wait, who? Spell that. I was like, what?
You never heard of
him, right? Oh, I don't know. You know what? My paralegal works on that. Let me figure it out. I'll have to give you a call back. Oh my goodness. So those are types of things that we go through so that you don't have to. So that's just one of the reasons why it matters truly who you work with.
Yeah, I was just telling you too, I just had a transaction close, and the paralegal called me. It was Friday, and she called and said, Monique, where do you live? I was like, oh, this is not good. And she was like, no, we didn't realize that there was this move in, move out fee. Both the buyer and seller need to pay it. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. So this is Friday at like 10 a.m. They're both at work. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do? So I got in my trusty car. I went over to the bank. I personally paid for both of them. Now, I got reimbursed at the closing, but I did whatever it took. I called that buyer's agent. I said, can you make it there by 12 o'clock? Because we're going to close today. He was like, Monique, I cannot. So I said, no worries. So I went. I paid both of them. It was okay. I got reimbursed right at the end at closing. We closed at 4:50 p.m. on Friday. I've never been so happy in my life. But sometimes you just have to take that extra step and do. You have to do to make things happen.
You have to make
it's okay. Happen. And they were very appreciative. Now I have a buyer's agent who's saying, if I see anything of yours come up,
yes, I know.
If I got a listing, you go the extra mile.
Yes. And that's always
I'm willing
fun.
to work with you, Monique.
Yep.
And so I told him I really do appreciate that. So then you're building relationships too. So, as agents, we do all kinds of things, but it's okay. It's okay.
We're going to start a TikTok channel with stories of the agents. So tune in for that.
I know that's right.
Let me tell you what happened this week. Because all the stuff you're like, what? I know it's another word.
But we have to change the names and the times and everything.
Yeah. It'll be like,
but people gonna know who they are. Like, you know who you are.
I mean, we're not lying.
I didn't say your name.
What is it with SUV when it comes on? It's like the names
have been changed to protect. I ain't gonna say the innocent, but to protect the people.
Exactly.
Is that a good word?
Protect the people. Okay. Exactly. Like, we won't call you out specifically, but this did happen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but and that's the other thing. When you listen, you see an agent, you're like, oh yeah, this is a good agent.
This is a good transaction. They got people in place.
All of that matters.
Look, I had a transaction that went through. There were multiple offers, but the seller saw the lender that I had. And she called me, she said, you're not the highest, but I know he's going to get it done. There it is. And it was off maybe a few, I don't know exactly what it was, but we got it done. And sure enough, we did that in 27 days.
Yes.
Because they wanted to close.
And she knew that because she
had worked with him. So it matters, people. It matters.
It does. And I had the flip side happen. Remember, I had my agent, the lender I was working with, in the beginning, I was on the listing side, and he was like, oh no, we're gonna do this, we do weekly check-ins, and then he went into hiding. I was like,
and then it went to monthly.
And I'm like, what's going on? And so at the end, I was really upset. And I told him, I said, you know what? I do not appreciate how you were just not active, not responsive. And I will never use you again. Nor will I tell anybody if I see you come across, I'm not going to recommend it. I said, no, it's not going to happen. And he said, well, what happened? And I said, you said you were going to do these weekly check-ins. You said you were going to do this. He said, everybody says that. Did you really think I was going to do that? Yes, I did, because I didn't think you were a liar, but now I know that you are.
Yeah.
So the integrity with it, with people that have been in the business that are built. Now there are people that are just transaction oriented. So it doesn't matter if I burn these bridges. I'm just on to the next sale.
Right.
And that shows. But when people are relational and they're building community, I know that I can work well with them, and with the integrity piece of it.
And with the integrity. So. Well, that's just a little tidbit of, we got to some show enough stories this time. Boy,
we did. So, as you know, we are realtors. We've just been talking about. So, over Grace Over Grit and Growth, we talk about a lot of topics to bring women together. But we did want to share just a little bit about what we do on a day-to-day.
Yes.
And this is the time of year where people really are thinking, maybe I want to make a move. Maybe I want to buy some real estate.
Right.
Feel free to reach out to us. We would love to work with you. You can send us a DM. You have all of our contact information. You can also send us emails, which are also on the channel. So you'll see. If you just really want to say, you know what, I'm trying to figure out just how much my house is worth. Because my clients do that a lot. They're like, I'm just trying to figure out how much equity I have. we can do an equity analysis for you, which we'll go through and say, okay, based on this is about how much equity you have in your home. And if you're looking to refinance or do anything like that, we've got some people that would be able to help you. Sure. So don't be strangers. Right. Reach out. If it's not you, it's somebody that you know, please send them our way.
We love referrals.
We do.
Absolutely. And you don't have to call us to say, can I give them your number? You know,
exactly.
We do. We love doing that. And I love my people for it.
Yes.
Like, Monique, this person trying to get a house. Can I give them your number? Yes, you can. It's all over Facebook and Instagram anyway. So yes, you can. No, and I love you all for that. But that's why I want to say we do love referrals too.
We do.
So,
we
and
do.
It's okay. But I appreciate you calling and giving us a heads up. Like, okay, I got somebody that's calling that's going to do this. We absolutely love that.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because people sometimes will call and they'll say, XYZ referred me. And they'll pause and I'll be like, oh, yeah. And they'll be like, oh, okay. Like, they want to make sure they really did know me. I don't know. But it's fun. We appreciate the referrals. And it doesn't have to just be a referral that's in Illinois. We have partners throughout the entire United States.
We do.
So if you are listening and you are somewhere bright and sunny on a beach, although I'm a little jealous, if you're looking to buy or sell in real estate, I will certainly help you out.
I'm not jealous.
I am.
But call us.
We will certainly help you out. So don't let it just think it's just has to be Illinois. We can help you from anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with that, I thank you all for tuning in.
Yes. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yes, you can. So with that, until next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.